last we will reveal ourselves to
The Patriots.
At last we will have revenge.
Want to watch football without the restrictions of blackouts or cable? Check out expressvpn.com to help you get access to all the live games. Sign up today using the link in the description to get 3 free months. Yo, what up, brothers? It's the director. Chargers fans, well, we got ourselves a matchup coming up on Sunday. The Chargers versus Patriots. We will have our revenge. Of course, if you guys know what I'm talking about here, last time these two matched up wasn't a good time for Chargers fans. Yes, it was a blowout, one that a lot of Chargers fans were trying to wipe out of our memories from last season, but we play them again this season, so we got to relive that a little bit and find a way to come back and redeem ourselves versus the New England Patriots, because that resulted in one of the worst losses I've seen in years. It really felt like Belichick and company had the perfect game plan versus the Bolts, and at the time, our rookie quarterback, Bill Belichick, just knows what he's doing versus rookies, apparently, and unfortunately for Justin Herbert last season, it did not end well. After a loss, or the loss to the Ravens the week before our bye week, the Chargers should look to a thorough and unpredictable game plan versus the Patriots. I think that's going to be one of the bigger storylines of today's video, are the head coaches of each teams, and Brandon Staley and Bill Belichick. Either way, after coming off the loss from the Ravens, after the loss last year versus the Patriots, I think it's time for a little bit of sweet revenge in this week's matchup. Now, before we do get diving into this one, guys, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this one. Lights, camera, action. The Chargers versus Patriots Week 8 game preview. Before we start diving into everything, guys, question for you guys in the comments section. What do you think the final score prediction of this game is going to be? Of course, like always, I'll be giving you guys mine at the end of the episode. So to kick things off here, let's start with the injury report like we always do. Who is suiting up? Who might be missing time? Starting here on the Chargers side, Nasir Adderley getting some full practices in. That's pretty good. I know a lot of people not super stoked on Nasir Adderley. I know a lot of people are expecting, myself included at times, to be somewhat of a difference maker there at safety. But the truth of the matter is, even if he hasn't evolved into that kind of safety, he really has become pretty important to this Chargers secondary, as we've seen what this team can look like without Nasir Adderley. So very excited to see him back. Drew Tranquill continues to get limited practices in. At the time of recording this video, we haven't heard much from Friday. So if we can get a full practice in for Drew Tranquill on Friday, that would be a really good sign for him to suit up on Sunday's matchup. Mike Williams finally getting some full practices in. This is a pretty big one too. Mike Williams, he says for the first time in a while, he's feeling 100%. So I'm very excited to see Mike Williams come back, really throw it down here in the second half of the season, as he's been having a spectacular career year so far in 2021. I'd like to see him build upon that going into the future here. Now, Austin Eckler, this is kind of one that is a little bit concerning, okay? Austin Eckler, hip injury, did not practice on Thursday. Now, before recording this video, I did get news that he did not practice on Friday either. And that's not good, especially for a Chargers team where Austin Eckler, as far as the halfback position, is it. We do got guys behind him like Justin Jackson, Larry Roundtree, and Joshua Kelly. But I think in an interview not too long ago, Austin Eckler did state himself that he's waiting to see who steps up into that running back 2 role. And as of right now, it looks like we might be needing him. We still don't know what's going to happen. Of course, Austin Eckler could definitely play on Sunday, but 2 not practices or missed practices here in this week with a kind of out of the nowhere injury to his hip. Something that Chargers fans need to monitor, and if he does sit out, it's definitely going to make things a little bit tougher on the Chargers this week. Also, a question for you guys in the comments section. This is one that we've covered a couple of times, I suppose, while we've been talking about the trade deadline coming up on November 2nd. Do you think it would be wise for the Chargers to sign or even trade for another running back to add to this room? I know Joshua Kelly hasn't really panned out to be what we would hoped he would become after getting drafted last season. Justin Jackson's had his injuries concerns and his concerns staying on the field. Of course, Larry Roundtree has been okay, but he is a rookie, and I think he needs a little bit more time in his development. So do you guys think the Chargers should pursue a running back, either free agent or maybe even trying to trade for one, or do you think that we're good for now? Let me know in the comment section below. Now let's talk a little bit about the Patriots, okay? Now, last I heard, the Patriots did have some injuries up front concerning their offensive line. Outside of that, I mean, this list is ridiculous. And this is something I think the Patriots do pretty often and on purpose. It might be a strategy thing, like you throw so many names on the list and you're not quite sure who's actually going to suit up and who's not going to suit up. It's weird. Okay, I'm just going to say that it is weird. And there's some big names on here. I'll point out some of the bigger ones. David Andrews, Kyle Duggar, I guess kind of their kicker, Nick Folk, Godchow, Donta Hightower, Shaq Mason, Jonnu Smith, Kyle Van Noy, Sean Wade, Carl Davis. Like, if any one of these guys do end up sitting on Sunday, it does shift things quite a bit, I would say, in terms of favor for the Chargers. But I remember thinking this last year when we faced him too. This list was forever long, and I think maybe one guy out of that list ended up sitting last time. So who knows what happens this time. One thing for certain, though, I do think their left tackle is out, and in his stead, oh man, I forget his name. It's one of their guards that they're putting in at left tackle. So that'll be something to watch as we monitor Joey Bosa and those guys. So let's get into our next segment here. The keys to victory. What do the Chargers need to do in order to hopefully grab a win versus this New England Patriots team? Well, first let's start with kind of the surface level stuff here, okay? Now we do have Damian Harris on the screen. He's really good, and we'll talk more about him in just a second. But what I wanted to highlight are the matchups for the New England Patriots so far. I think they're 3-5 or something like that, something crazy. Not the best record, maybe 3-4 at this point. Not the best record for the Patriots right now, but they do have 3 wins. Well, who did those 3 wins come up against? The Houston Texans and the New York Jets twice. So I mean, when it comes to their overall schedule, they haven't taken down the most talented of teams yet, I guess. And I don't know if I expect the Chargers to be the first one. Their losses, of course, coming up against Miami, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, and Dallas. And each one of those teams pretty talented. Maybe you can, make an argument for New Orleans being in one of those tougher positions. But outside of that, man, like, they have not faced the craziest opponents in terms of strength of schedule. And the ones that were in their favor, they ended up coming away with the win with the Jets and the Texans. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there. The Chargers may be one of their toughest opponents in the season so far, and it just kind of speaks to their ability and their phase of a team, or in the phase that they're in as a team right now, as far as their win and losses versus their particular schedule. Next up, we got the battle of the coaches. Now, this is definitely, if I were to say, like, one highlighted thing of this game, whether you're a Chargers or Patriots fan or not, this is probably a big thing people are paying attention to. Brandon Staley versus Bill Belichick. The new hotness versus the legend as in terms of NFL coaches. This is definitely going to be one to watch in terms of adaptability, right? Bill Belichick, kind of known for being able to identify the things that teams heavily rely upon when it comes to their offense and defense, and finding one or two elements to really take away. And in this case, for the Chargers, I'm sure he's looking at Justin Herbert, who he spoke very highly of, in an interview a couple of days ago. He's looking at maybe Joey Bosa. He's looking at maybe Keenan Allen. So you can expect Bill Belichick and his scheme to kind of revolve around taking these guys away. It doesn't mean the Chargers won't have options. We certainly will, but we might have to lean on other guys in order to get a win here. And then, of course, Brandon Staley, the new hotness, this new young Wild West gunslinging head coach coming in here with all these analytical, magical statistics that are able to come in here and make a difference in the NFL, and honestly a very intelligent, exciting new way. And it's going to be very exciting to see how these two adapt to each other and how these two attack their corresponding teams, because honestly, both very, very intelligent human beings, both very respectful, and I honestly think that it's going to be one to watch to see how it's going to be almost like watching, those internationally like televised chess matches. So we're all sitting here like, why are we watching? Well, we're watching it because these guys are two very intelligent human beings, and it'll be very exciting to see how they try and best one another. So that'll be a very exciting thing to watch in Sunday's matchup. Now, the elephant in the room. This is what I've been asked about the most this week. This is what I've been asked about leading up to this game since last week's bye. How are we going to stop the run versus the New England Patriots? Because last season, you guys will remember, the Chargers allowed something like 165 yards and 2 touchdowns to the Cam Newton-led Patriots. And, of course, most of those stats came from Cam Newton himself, who is no longer with the team. However, there has been an emergence as far as talent in the running game here for the Patriots, and Damian Harris, who's been coming off of back-to-back 100-yard games. He's very talented, he's very dangerous, and he's one that the Chargers are going to have to pay attention to. Now, why are the Chargers so bad versus the run this season? I would say it's more of a dedication of resources, right? The Chargers like to play 2 high safeties, which in turn, stops explosive plays, but does take away a man from the box, a linebacker, somebody to defend the run. There might need to be a shift in mentality this game just a little bit in order to contain a Damian Harris, because you take a look at the rest of the Patriots outside of their tight ends, their wide receivers are rather weak. They got a rookie quarterback in there slinging it for the first time, going up against Brandon Staley's definitely a tall order. They're going to likely try to lean on the run quite a bit. In order to maybe be prepared for that, I would hope that Brandon Staley and company has maybe something a little bit different in play here to help against the run a little bit more. So, yes, the Chargers, we can't allow a 200-yard game to Damian Harris. The last couple of weeks versus the Ravens and then the Browns, the Chargers have been giving up a lot of yardage on the ground. Hopefully we found some sort of balance throughout the bye week, especially when we're considering the kind of teams that we're playing up against. I can understand the 2-high safety look versus a team like the Kansas City Chiefs or the Vegas Raiders, where they're going to air it out a lot and they're going to get these big chunk yard plays. But versus a guy like Mac Jones, who's going to dink and dunk a lot, doesn't take a lot of huge, risks downfield, I think the Chargers should maybe try and shift things up a little bit and defend the run a little more aggressively, because we got guys out there that could definitely contribute in those terms. Okay? Next up, monkey see, monkey do. Herbert last year struggled versus the top-notch NFL head coach and Bill Belichick, who's very good, versus rookie quarterbacks. I would hope to see Brandon Staley do the same thing versus Mac Jones, who faces his toughest coach of the year, in my opinion, maybe outside of Bruce Arians, until Brandon Staley gets a little more reps under his belt. But still, keeping the rookie guessing and forcing him to pass is something I hope the Chargers focus on this week, because Mac Jones, as good as he's been, because let's go ahead and say it, Mac Jones has been pretty dang good this season, especially considering where he was drafted. I think the Chargers have an opportunity, though, to still exploit his inexperience in the NFL. If we can put him in a situation where he does have to pass more often than not, the Chargers should certainly try and take advantage of that. So what Bill Belichick did last year to Justin Herbert, I would hope Brandon Staley tries to do this year versus Mac Jones. Okay? Next up, respect the defense. New England Patriots, I would say, are more of a upper middle half as far as their defense is concerned in terms of yards allowed and touchdowns. They've allowed around 350 yards per game. They have 11 takeaways on the season. They got a decent run and pass defense, but they're not impervious. I want to say this to Justin Herbert because I do know that Bill Belichick's going to come out there and try and confuse him. He's going to come out there and try and make things, disguise different coverages and make things more difficult on Justin than they need to be. But and they do have the talent to back it up out there in New England. I'm going to say that as well. But they're not impervious. And they have been giving up, I would say, a decent amount of yards per game, a decent amount of touchdowns per game. And I think that Justin Herbert should be able to handle it. We got to respect it because, again, it's the chess pieces of a chess-minded master out there. And I think that if we can go ahead and try and identify what's happening in front of us, Justin Herbert has a really good shot at figuring it out and trying to dice it up a little bit. Speaking of Justin Herbert, in these brand new uniforms, or not the new ones, but the Navy uniforms, my God, dude. Can I show you guys something real quick? I wasn't going to do this. It was impromptu. Of course, I'm going to a game here versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I had to get a brand new jersey to match that occasion. Check this out, man. I hope you guys can see it well here on camera. Yo! I was wondering, like, which style of jersey to get the custom one done in, and this is still my favorite here, so we had to go ahead and get the Navy for my thing here. Can we get a focus back here, Cameron? Can we get a focus? There we go. We had to get the Navy, which the Chargers will be rocking on Sunday. Speaking of Herbert, back on track. Speaking of Herbert, New England gave up 450 yards to Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. I think Justin Herbert could certainly follow suit. Again, you talk about the kind of quarterbacks they've been going up against: Zach Wilson, David Mills. I think Tua maybe in their game. Winston, you had, of course, Tom Brady and Dak. But outside of that, man, the quarterbacks, the good quarterbacks definitely had good games versus the quarterbacks that haven't had the best games. So I don't know, man. I think Justin Herbert probably puts up, maybe the second best performance versus the New England Patriots. I'm guessing somewhere like 350, 375 yards, something crazy. I think he's going to have a pretty good game on Sunday because they're without Stephon Gilmore. You're going to be looking at guys like Jalen Mills and Sean Wade to try and take advantage of in the mismatch department. I think Justin Herbert's been doing a really good job of that this season, with Herbert averaging already like 300 yards per game versus some pretty stellar defenses in the NFL. So I would say it's okay to lean on Justin Herbert this game. Let him do his thing. Let him fight against the Bill Belichick system out there and see if he can come away with some success, and give Herbert the opportunity to get and keep the lead, to obtain and keep the lead. That's a pretty important thing in this game too. It forces Mac Jones to throw, whereas they can't run quite as often if they have to play a little bit of catch up. So I would say also start giving him some more opportunities to pass deep. This is something Chargers fans grew very accustomed to last season. As of right now, too, I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter, the Rams have just agreed to let Deshaun Jackson seek a trade partner. Another question for you guys in the comments section. Would you guys be okay with the Chargers legitimately only having to give up around a 7th round pick in order to go get Deshaun Jackson to help unleash the arm of a Justin Herbert and make the defense back off just a little bit? Let me know if you guys think it would be worth a 7th. Also, keep in mind the Chargers do have 4 compensatory picks this upcoming draft, so it would honestly be like giving up something we're getting for free anyway. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Next up, get the lead and pressure the Rook. New England allows around 2 sacks per game. I think Joey Bosa and company are the second hardest pass rush they've had to face since Tampa Bay. New England has some injuries up front, so it should, once again, be a good matchup for Joey Bosa. But Joey Bosa, man, like every single week, I hope, oh my God, this could be the Joey Bosa 2-sack game. This is the one that we've been waiting for. And it just never happens because every snap you look at his side of the line and he's got 2 or 3 guys on him. We got to try and figure that out, man. I'm hoping that the Chargers on the opposite side of that defensive line figure something out to help free Bosa. Hashtag free Bosa in the comments if you guys made it this far in the video. I want to see Joey Bosa get free, and he's just got too many resources thrown at him over and over again. But like we said before, if we get the lead, it stops the running game from developing for New England. It forces the rookie to have to go out there and perform, and I think versus Joey Bosa and company, he's definitely going to have a hard day to do that. I love this photo, man. He looks so small there next to number 90. High-flying receivers up next. Mike Williams should be back healthy like we stated before. Keenan Allen probably looking to bounce back after the bye week. I know know he's had his ups and downs this season. Still very, very efficient and effective. The Chargers certainly have, reaped the rewards of his uber talented, hands and route running this season, but he has had a share of drops and maybe, trips and stuff like that. So maybe Keenan Allen looks to have a bounce back game. And then time to unleash Austin Eckler as the receiving back too. If Austin Eckler does suit up on Sunday, I would hope that Joe Lombardi and company have something in store to get him more involved through the air, because that's really where I feel like Austin Eckler shines. All right, almost done here, guys. Next up, no revenge for you. This is a revenge game for the Chargers, not for the New England Patriots, but we still have to watch out for their tight ends. Of course, we're seeing Hunter Henry here, Los Angeles Charger. We certainly do miss him, and this may be viewed as like a revenge game for Hunter Henry. You never know. He's been having a great past couple of weeks. I think he's scored in his last 4 games, dude, in a row. So we got to shut that down. Of course, Derwin James going to come back out there, pat him on the back a couple of times. But at the same time, we got to shut him down, man. Hopefully we can put a stop to his touchdown streak in this game. And then lastly, guys, time to test the leg. Special teams. Look, the Chargers signed Dustin Hopkins this last week. I think it's exciting to see what he's got maybe in this game. I'm hoping, guys, oh my God, am I hoping that he's perfect in PATs and in field goal opportunities. That would be just such a weight lifted off the shoulders of Chargers fans if he goes out there and kills it. And honestly opens up the offense for the Chargers a little bit, who have really been avoiding using their kicker in the past couple of games. If they can go out there and say, hey, here's our automatic one. Hey, we've got, opportunities to score field goals that we can now capitalize on. That could really change in how the Chargers operate their offense. So very underrated signing. Dustin Hopkins, I think he's going to be awesome for the Chargers, and I hope that we get our first look at why he's such an important piece of this team on Sunday. And then secondly, the Chargers did sign Andre Roberts. I'm hoping that he wows us at least once. Andre Roberts, of course, ex-Houston Texan, ex-Buffalo Bill, one of the better kick returners in the NFL, with the Chargers only averaging around 16 yards per return. I'm hoping that Andre Roberts gets us on the opposite side of the 20 and maybe breaks at least one away in this game just to get Chargers fans fired up. Well, with that, guys, it's time to get to the most exciting segment of the video. Director, what is your score prediction for this game? What does this all equate to in your eyes? My final score prediction versus the Patriots is going to be Chargers 31, Patriots 24. My bottom line is that the Chargers are a great team coming off a tough loss and the bye week. And honestly, on paper and honestly, record-wise, just personnel-wise, I think they're just a better team overall. And I think it's time to get to work. And I think the Chargers have a head coach that can go head-to-head versus a Bill Belichick. I think all around, as long as the Chargers can stay healthy and try and maintain a lead and really leave it up to Justin Herbert as far as the offense, then the Chargers got a really good shot at getting at least a 2-score lead here and try and maintaining it throughout the entire game. So 31-24 is going to be my final score prediction. Again, I invite you guys in the comment section below to let me know what your score prediction is going to be for this game. Well, guys, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out if you did enjoy this content. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Director. We'll see you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty.